Hi, first grade. Last week in math, we talked about subtracting multiples of 10 from a two-digit number. We're going to kind of do something similar this week, but this week we're going to be finding what is 10 more or 10 less than a number. So our I can statement today is I can find 10 more or 10 less than a number using a hundreds chart. So today in particular, we're going to use a hundreds chart to help us, but we might use other strategies later this week. I'm going to repeat our I can statement, and I would love for you to repeat it back with me. I can find 10 more or 10 less than a number using a hundreds chart. I can find 10 more or 10 less than a number using a hundreds chart. All right, let's go over what does 10 mean. So if we are using base 10 blocks, we can think of 10 as being 10 ones. So I have 10 ones on the right, and if I were to stack them all up on top of one another, it would look like this and make a 10. We also said when there's a hundreds chart, we see that first row that goes 1 to 10. I can think of each box in the hundreds chart as 1, 1. And if there are 10 ones in that first row, how many are there altogether? There's 10. So we can think of those 10 ones as being 10. So that way I know each row in the hundreds chart makes a 10. So we are going to be using the hundreds chart to figure out what is 10 more or 10 less than a number. So it'll look something like this. You're also going to have something that looks like a plus sign. So I'm going to put a number, for instance, we're going to practice with the number 56. And I want you to use the hundreds chart to figure out what is 10 more and what is 10 less, but also what is 1 more than the number and what is 1 less. So pay attention to 1 more versus 10 more, because those are going to be two different kinds of things. So I located my number 56 on my hundreds chart and I highlighted it. Let's first think about what is 10 less. When we say less on the hundreds chart, we know the number is going to either be to the left or up, because the numbers get smaller if you go left and if you go up. One way I can do this is counting back from 56 10 times. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 less than 56 is 46. So I put 46 in the top of my plus sign where it says minus 10. Do you notice anything about these numbers? They're in the same column. So let's think about that as we move forward. Now we're going to think about what is 10 more. So I know when we say more, the number is going to be bigger. So you're either going to go to the right or you're going to go down, because the numbers get bigger if you go right and if you go down. So I can count up to 10 to figure out what is 10 more. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 more than 56 is 66. So I went ahead and put 66 in the plus 10 box. Do you notice anything about these numbers? Look, they're in the same column. And they also all have the same what? They have the same ones place. So if you look at each number, they all have a 6. So if you counted over on the hundreds chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know anything with 6 ones is going to be underneath the 6. But the tens place has changed because you're adding a 10 each time, and we know each row of the hundreds chart is 110. So it went up 110 and up another 10. Now we got to think about what is one more than a number and what is one less than a number. If my number is 56, I know one more is going to be to the right or down. So I'm just going to look to the right, and what is one more than 56? It is 57. Now, what is one less than 56? I know less is going to be to the left. So I'm just going to take my number and count one to the left. And I got 55. So do you notice this plus sign over here? Does it kind of look like a plus sign in the hundreds chart too? So we can think about as the number being 10 less or 10 more, it's going to be in the same column. But when we think of more or one less, it's going to be in the same row. Row means going side to side, column means going up and down. Now we're going to watch this video, and it's going to help us figure out what is one more or one less. So let's get some extra practice by following along to this video.
Hi, and welcome to today's first grade flip classroom video. Today's video is talking about finding 10 more than a number or 10 less than a number using a 100 chart. If you take a look at my 100 chart, you will see that I have highlighted the number 45. If I wanted to find what 10 less than 45 would be, I could use my 100 chart and simply count back 10 squares. Let's try that. Starting at 45, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 less than 45 would be 35. If I wanted to count and find out what 10 more than 45 would be, I could use the very same process, except this time I would count forward instead of backward. Let's try that. Starting at 45, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more than 45 would be 55. Take a minute and look at that. See if there's something you notice. You may notice that 35, which is 10 less than 45, is right above 45 on the 100 chart. And that 55, which is 10 more than 45, is right below 45 on the 100 chart. This pattern, or this trick, can help you to use the 100 chart to find what 10 more than a number or 10 less than a number would be. Let's use tens and ones blocks to help us check our work. If you look at the number 45, 4 is in the tens place, meaning that there are 4 tens. So if I wanted to know what 10 less than 45 would be, I would take away a 10. Now that there's 3 tens, that would be 35, just like when I used the 100 chart and counted back and got 35. If I wanted to check what 10 more would be, I would have to add another 10. 5 tens and 5 ones is 55, just like on the 100 chart when it told us that 55 was 10 more than 45. Let's look at 77 on the 100 chart. See if you can find what 10 less would be. 10 less than 77 would be 67. You could have gotten that by counting back 10 or by using the 100 chart to help you using our trick going right above the 77, showing us that 10 less would be 67 because 67 has 6 tens and 77 has 7 tens. Let's see if we can use the 100 chart to tell us what 10 more than 77 would be. Go ahead, take a guess. You should have said that 87 would be 10 more than 77. So if I'm looking at the number 77 on my 100 chart, 67 would be 10 less, and 87 would be 10 more. Let's try it with the number 28. What would be 10 less than 28? Figure it out. If you said 18, then you're correct. Now, let's think about what 10 more would be. Using what we learned about the 100 chart, what would 10 more than 28 be? Write that number on your homework sheet. That's the end of this flipped classroom video. Tomorrow,
All right, so in this video, they talked about a homework sheet. We don't have one, but if you said 38, you are correct because 28 has 2 10s and 38 has 3 10s, so it has one more 10 than the number 28. So we're going to take what we learned here and we're going to use it on our seesaw work. In seesaw, you're going to have that plus sign like I showed you on my example. So each slide you're going to have 10 on your right, and on each slide is going to be a different number in the middle. So you're going to use that number and you're going to figure out where it is on the hundreds chart. I see that my first number is the number 57. I know 57 has 5 10s and 7 1s. So I can think about if I know each row in the hundreds chart is 110, I can count down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can count over 7 because I know there's 7 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I can find my number 57. So one way you can do this is you can use that highlighter tool, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4th tool over, and you can highlight the number 57. That way you know that's where you're going to start. I want you to figure out what is 10 more and put it down here. What is 10 less than 57? Put it up here. What is 1 more than 57, put it on the right, and what is 1 less than 57 and put it on the left. When you put in your numbers, you can use the pencil or pen tool, or you can use your text tool to type it. The highlighter one is not going to show up that well on here, so just use the highlighter to highlight the numbers on the hundreds chart to help you. If you are struggling, please reach out to Miss Dominic and I would love to guide you through, or you can go back to that video and re-watch it again. When you are all finished, remember to once again hit that green check in the top right button or top right corner and submit it to Miss Dominic. I hope you guys have fun with this activity and keep in mind that we're figuring out what is 10 more and what is 10 less than a number.